Filling up some coffee here. I'm gonna go outside. Great outdoors. Looks like there's somebody in here already. Well, hallelujah. God bless you. God bless you for joining me today. I'm going to discuss some very interesting Dr. Bass insights and ideas, thoughts exercises. We're going to exercise thoughts. We're going to experiment with thoughts. I'm going to discuss some ideas that have been bouncing around in my head lately. Stuff that I think is, well, if anything, it's just entertaining or just amusing. Food for thought. Stuff to think about and shit. You know? I like when people give me stuff to think about, and then I can just sort of spin it around in my mind and like add shit to it or take away shit from it and then spit it back out into the world and have other people do the same. Don't know if we're getting closer to the truth, but we're evolving ideas. And I do believe there's other theories and ideas or concepts that I'll be discussing that are quite close to the truth, or if not just dead on. One of which would be flat Earth, which is also, like Lucky Haskins would say, it's more of just a understanding that the globe model is not even really a model. Well, it's a model, I guess, but it's a debunked one. It's a religion. Here's how I define the globe model of Earth. The globe is basically a pile of debunked theories underneath a stack of unfalsifiable hypotheses. That's about it. So therefore, it's pseudoscience. It's a religion, because if it can't be falsified, then it's a belief. It's not science. It's pseudoscience. That's what pseudoscience is. It's unfalsifiable ideas that people won't let you falsify. There's just no way to falsify, because every time it gets falsified, there's some new hypothesis that arrives that patches it up or attempts to. This is old news. People talk about this shit ad nauseum. Mm. Mm-hmm. Mm. If I could, I would just eat these things all day. Oh my god, they're so fucking good. Mm. They should be illegal, because they're just too fucking good. I mean, these things are fucking so good. Mm. I pity you for not being able to join me in this enjoyment. You can just vicariously enjoy these. Mm. Mm-hmm. Combined with my pumpkin flavored coffee. Oh my god, I'm in heaven. So I know I don't really like watching people eat. I only got 3 more to eat. Sorry about that. It's a beautiful day here in paradise. Want to see my plants? They're taller than me. Didn't do that good this year with the weed, but I'm gonna have some though. Starting to flower pretty nicely. Smells really good. There's some little babies here. Walk down to Dr. Bass's little corner of the yard here. Hey, look, it's dancing Elmo. Do a little dance, Elmo. Come on, man. Well, surprise, surprise. There's drilling and hammering and sawing and every other fucking obnoxious noise you could think of. It's okay. So, some things I'm eager to talk about that I've really enjoyed talking about lately. The moon. Somebody put the idea in my head a long time ago that the moon is actually a burnout sun from the long, long ago. And I took that idea and kind of ran with it. And the idea has really evolved now, or it's just I've added a lot more to it, or just a lot more evidence to support it, and just I've just been playing with the idea a lot. I think it's kind of cool. I'll explain as soon as I'm done eating this. Mm. Mm. So good. Forever love. Nice to see you. You want to hear my moon theory? Mm. Well, it's not my theory. Somebody else put the idea in my head a long time ago. But just the idea that wasn't expounded on, or whatever. And I took the idea and ran with it. The idea that the moon is simply a burnout sun. It used to be a sun. Now I'll explain. I'll go in depth here. Yes, I'm doing good. Thank you. All right. So let's say the moon used to be a sun. In my opinion, when I look at the moon, it's so mysterious. It looks, to me, it appears to be something that is like, that used to be something else. It seems like it used to have some kind of functionality or some kind of purpose that it no longer suits. Or like when I look at that thing, it looks like it's weathered, it's aged, it's spent. It looks like it's just a husk of what used to be. And see through. Well, I don't know about that, but I like that idea sometimes. I kind of toy with that, but I think the moon is a solid thing for what it's worth. And in this theory that I'm gonna weave together, I think the moon, when you look at the moon, it depends where you are on Earth, I guess. I don't know. I mean, but from where I'm standing, the moon appears to have, on the bottom of the moon, I call it the belly button of the moon. It's like a navel. There's a little navel on the bottom of it, and you can see these sort of what look like sort of stretch marks or lines that kind of all lead. They all lead to this navel. It kind of resembles like a belly button, and with like stretch marks that lead to it. Like it really does. I mean, it looks like it used to be sort of fleshy or something. It used to have a different sort of consistency to it, but I think the moon has a navel right there. It was anything that has a navel was given birth to, and I think. Well, I'll try to go over this as well explained as possible. I think that perhaps when the Earth was kicked off, when it first started off, I think we're on our second sun right now, maybe, and the sun sprang out of the North Hole. There's a hole right in the middle of Earth, and it's big, and it gave birth to the first sun that we have. It shoots it up and it breaks off its umbilical cord, and it sends it shooting up into the sky, and then it begins emitting plasma out its holes. Like the craters, I think, on the moon are simply, I don't think they're from impact. They're not from impacts. We never see anything hit the moon. It's not getting struck by things. I think those craters are the result, are just, I don't think they're impacts. I think it's outpacks. I think things that I think things came out of those craters before. I don't think it was stuff hitting them and causing it. I think those craters were like originally spewing forth plasma like the sun. Just that's where this plasma was shooting out of the sun. Like when you see the sunspots on the sun, those little black circles. I think those are the holes that shoot plasma out, and like occasionally they'll they'll sputter out and they won't be shooting plasma, and that's where you'll see a little sunspot appear. And you know, it's sort of like sporadic. Like sometimes they'll sputter out, but it'll begin shooting plasma out it again. It's just like the way it functions is like there's a certain amount of not fuel, but like it only has so much energy within it or whatever it is. Life, I guess, is what you would call it. It's only got so much life, and then eventually it's spent, and the Earth has to give birth to another one. Now the Earth itself could be a living entity, like it's God's creation. It's God's Mother Nature's womb, and therefore the moon would be like its child. It's like the sun. I mean, the sun would be born from the belly of the Earth. Boom, and it breaks off its umbilical cord and shoots up into the sky, way up there, and starts doing its thing, spitting plasma out its holes. And like the sunspots, you can see that they're black. It's like as if you're looking inside of the sun, like as though maybe it's hollow and dark on the inside. Like if you look at craters and compare them to dried up geysers, they're identical. It's like those craters are more likely old are more likely the result of things shooting out of what used to be the sun. It's the moon now, but so I'm getting kind of tangled around my words here. I have so much going through my mind. It's hard for me to just focus. Like I think the fact that the moon hasn't, to me, it looks like a navel. It looks like a belly button on the bottom of the moon. Maybe where other places in the world, when you look at the moon, it's not on the bottom. But for where I'm standing, it looks like it's on the bottom, and it looks like a navel where there was an umbilical cord attached to it, like perhaps inside the Earth. If you were to go down inside the North Hole, there's other suns waiting to be born. They're not emitting plasma yet. They're it's like they're little baby suns waiting for when the sun burns out again. When it finally gets spent and uses up all its life force, it goes dark. The place goes dark, and the Earth knows at that point to give birth to another sun. It'll be like a dark age for however long it is. Maybe it's quick, maybe it's long, but the Earth knows it's time to give birth to another sun, and then there'll be two moons. And see, after the sun stops emitting its plasma, and doing its thing, it runs out of its life force or whatever, its energy. It begins to sink in elevation. It no longer has its momentum that it used to have, and it ever so slowly begins to sink down in elevation. And it's still going in its circle that it does, like I think when the sun first entered into the world, it was in the very center in the North Hole, in the North Pole or whatever, and that's where it started its first lap. It starts circling outward, comes all the way out, and then back again. And it does this cycle, boom, 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 all the way out and back again, until it finally gets spin. And then it's just this husk of a sun. It's just like this remnant that's no longer performing any functionality, really. It's still on its circuit, but it's like it ever so slowly starts to lose elevation, and that's why the moon goes. It's like it's a quicker cycle. Because it's closer to us now. It's lost some elevation, and you notice how the sun and the moon are like the same size. It's because the moon used to be a sun. This is my theory, and it's just interesting how like the moon has a navel. That's really what led me down this. Like I think that the moon was a sun. It was given birth to by the Earth, and it just looks like it has like little stretch marks that lead up to its navel. And it's just interesting how like a woman's menstrual cycle is in sync with the moon. There's 13 cycles per year. I think the Earth is alive. It's like a living creation that God created. It's Mother Nature or whatever. It's the Earth could be considered a womb. When the water breaks, that's the firmament. We're when the firmament breaks. Oh man, that's when we're born into heaven. No, I think the moon being a former sun makes more sense to me than it just being a fucking rock floating around up there for no good reason. I mean, granted, it's how we keep time, but that's just that's just the result of like the sun having burned out, and then it's like it sort of loses some elevation, and it's still on its circuit, but it's lower than it used to be. So, and that's why it can eclipse the sun. And here's the thing I've been thinking about lately. It's like Crow 777, the Crow radio, whatever. He's captured the black sun. It's like the second sun, but it's not really visible with the naked eye. You have to use a certain. I don't know quite how he did it, but like there's other people that there's other people that have captured that image of the black sun. It's usually somewhere within the vicinity of the sun that we see, but there's a sun that we don't see it's dark. It's like there's other people that have talked about this. It's not just some harebrained fucking conspiracy thing. It's like I think it's a reality, and I think perhaps if the moon is formerly a sun, well then that one probably had to have a second sun that's not visible, you know, and it probably is still there. Maybe, I don't know, and perhaps that's what eclipses the moon. I think the moon really does eclipse the sun, though. I'm pretty convinced that's what's going on there. There's other stuff I wanted to say about that. I'm trying to remember what it was. The moon it's such a mystery. It doesn't really have much of a purpose other than just being part of our timepiece here, our sky clock. But that just kind of goes without saying. Anything that's on a cycle that's up in the sky is part of the clock. It's the only thing we have really to base time passing on. Like it's the only way we have to keep track of time is what's circling overhead. Maybe the sun's motion is the sun's birth is what causes the momentum of everything that's moving around up there. Maybe when the sun burns out, everything kind of slows down for a second, and then the new sun is born and it sends everything on its cycle again. I've been tripping on eddies. You know what an eddy is? It's like a current in the water, or it could be currents in the air, currents in eddies are like currents within currents, kind of like little miniature little. I wish I could explain what an eddy is. I think you guys know what eddies are. And it's interesting how the stars kind of look like an eddy. The star trails remind me of an eddy, like a little current. It's not little. I had this all like tied together in my mind before I sat down and talk about it. Now I'm all tongue tied and I can't fucking think about what I wanted to say. But the moon being a former sun really seems like a fun theory to toy with. And because of the observations I've made of the moon and the lousy explanations we've been given for the moon, where it's like just this rock that's been struck a million times by fucking meteors or what, it's been given these craters by things that impacted. However, we've never seen that happen. And it would have to have been struck dead on. Every crater had to have been struck dead on. So from every, it's just difficult to believe that that's really what happened. I think those craters are the result of something coming out of whatever that thing is versus impacting it. Like if you look at what a dried up geyser looks like, it resembles exactly what the craters on the moon look like. Or like they'll say that there's certain craters on the Earth that were from meteors that have struck the Earth, but perhaps they were just dried up geysers that were once just massive geysers that were like flooding the Earth at one point. Yeah, I think children are like, I think when we're born, we're blessed with like vast knowledge, and it gets trained out of us. I think there was a point in time when people were born with so much inherent knowledge of this place, and it's just been repeatedly drained out, like just beaten out of us to the point now where we're not really born with so much knowledge anymore. Like there might have been a point in time where we just knew so much. Although I think there's other shit going on too. I think there's truth to some of these stories about angels and having like been here amongst us people and the Nephilim and all that. There was giants here for sure. I believe that's a fact. And that's a truth that's been swept under the carpet as best they could sweep it. But there's so much evidence still that remains. I mean, there's structures on Earth here that nobody knows how they were built. The stories they give you for how they were built are lacking so much information that it's just like, it's kind of a poke in the eye, or it's like a slap in the face where it's like, oh, this guy, Frederick Fredrickson, built this place in 1857, and he won a contest in designs, and he was the guy that was selected to build it, and he also built these 100 other ones, palaces around the country, when there was no like fucking, when basically it was like not even trains. There might have been trains in that point in time, but it's just like, dude, where did he source all the materials? How many people did he have working for him? How did he build it in 1 year? How did, like exactly where did he go to school to learn to build like that? And like, we're supposed to think that like, our rustic beginnings here, in the United States, like the old West, and like we're just rough and rowdy, you know, card playing, gun slinging, gambling, gold mining, cathedral building cowboys. There's just some information that's missing. We have these just incredible structures built all over the country. Each Capitol building, all the fucking like, there's like buildings that were repurposed. I mean, it's clear. There's like these fucking palaces that were like, they're like a post office or something. It's like it's a library or it's high school, and it's like these palaces. Like, there's no reason why a society that's just starting off, and it's just from the ground up, we're just trying to source materials from our environment here and just sort of create what we can create with what we got to work with. Why would we make a fucking incredible, like ornate, like palace just to serve as a post office or like a fucking, I mean, some of these buildings that you see, there's no way they built that building for the purpose that it's being used for. It's like, it doesn't make any sense. I mean, I'm all about that shit. I don't think that the fucking, I don't like the Tartarian, like, I don't like that being that, it seems like just sort of I don't like calling it the Tartarian thing. It's like, I don't know enough about that to really say that's what I think was going on. I think it's just evidence that there was giants living here, and I think there's stories about like some of these old buildings that are over in Europe, like these cathedrals and shit. Like, they were built with the help of angels. Like some of the official stories, like it's like considered myth or folklore, but it's like they were built with the help of angels. That shit's wild, man. That's like, how does a story that fucking, like, where does that shit come from? Like, why would that story be in? Why would we have that folklore within our? Where would they get that shit from? What, we're gonna build this immaculate, this crazy fucking cathedral, and then we're gonna tell people it was built with the help of angels, just for shits and giggles. What the fuck? Like, how does that shit make its way into our information? There's a lot of stories like that too about like old, it's like I wish I knew all the names of the buildings and the locations, but I'm not that well versed in all that shit. But there's plenty of evidence here on Earth that there was really amazing shit going on, advanced societies that lived here that could do things that we still don't quite know how to do, or maybe we'll never know how to do. And I don't understand why you don't. I'm not a person that buys into this whole like we lost the technology kind of thing. Or we destroyed it. Like I don't think people do that. I don't think there's ever been a case where we just forget how to do something that's just incredible. That's never been a situation that people would let happen. Like if we have knowledge about something, we don't just throw it away. We don't destroy it. Like we expound on it. We like it gets better. We don't digress. We haven't. Yeah, water makes. Yeah, the mud flood thing is annoying because it's just a flood. There's never been there's been mud floods where there's been like liquefaction. That happens when things get so saturated it just starts. But that's from a flood. That's the result of a flood. After a flood, after the water sinks back into the ground, that's what you're left with, a bunch of mud, surrounding all the stuff that used to be there, like trees, houses, cities, buildings, whatever. It's all buried in silt and mud and shit. Whatever didn't get destroyed it's still there. It's buried in the mud. You got to unbury it. There's plenty of evidence of that being the reality. And like people can deny that all they want, but I mean, once you see enough evidence of it, it doesn't matter what anyone says. It's pretty clear there's been a lot of unburying of structures, and there's like cities on top of cities on top of cities. I mean, we don't know. Who knows how deep this shit goes? I mean, for one thing, I think it's interesting. Like, there was a flood here on Earth at one point in time. There was definitely a big flood, and where did all that water go? It sank into the ground. In my opinion, it took a while, but it sank into the ground. How is that going to happen on a globe? Like, there's only so much room for all that water to go. I mean, like, but here where we live on this flat plain, I mean, we don't know how deep the ground goes. It just goes and goes and goes. And the water just sank into the ground, I guess. I don't know. I really want my flat Earth thought experiment to get more attention because I feel like it's like the nail in the coffin for the globe. Like it's what made me into a flat earther. My flat Earth thought experiment that I've been crafting. I have a few ways of talking about it. Like if people were to just take me seriously and listen to my thought experiment and just follow me all the way through it and just realize that it pretty much debunks the globe, or that it proves that most people think of the Earth as flat Earth. They just don't realize it. The whole thing with concentric circles, like if you're given, let's say you had like a circular piece of property and now that property line just keeps expanding evenly around the whole perimeter. It just gets bigger and bigger and bigger, and it's encompassing more and more space on Earth to the point where it's just like, it's just so fucking massive. Eventually, you're gonna run out of room to expand into. Like when you finally have encompassed the whole world, like what is that perimeter gonna look like in the end? I mean, is it gonna be just fucking massive, right? Just this encompassing, encircling the whole world, or is it gonna be just this little teeny circle? Because on a globe, you know, you got to picture it like an expanding perimeter on a globe. You get to the median, and then it starts to shrink back down again. Like the biggest circle you're going to make on a globe is halfway across the globe. And then the circle starts to shrink. Like I've had the thought experiment before where it's like if you were given a piece of property that's a circle and told you could step outside of that circle and then draw another circle around the outside of that first circle and say that's your property line now. And you can just keep doing this. Step outside of that one and draw another circle around that, making concentric circles. You're not making circles next to each other. You're making circles around the previous circle. So the circles keep getting bigger and bigger and bigger. And you're told you can just keep doing this indefinitely. And if time permitted and all the variables aside, like if you were to just left to just keep making bigger and bigger circles, do you think that eventually you would own the whole world? Yes or no? And I think most people would say, well, yeah, of course. Why wouldn't you? You're just expanding out from your center location. The first circle you were given, it's right there in the middle. And you keep making bigger circles. Yeah, eventually you're going to own the whole world. You're going to run out of space eventually. So yeah, I think most people would say yes, you're going to own the whole world eventually. If you were just left to just keep making bigger circles, eventually you're going to encompass the whole world. I think most people would say yes. And I agree. I think that's the right answer. However, if you live on a globe, if you live on the surface of a globe, the biggest circle you can make is at the median. After that, the circles start getting smaller. Now, people want to come back at me and say, oh, well, now you're just circling the property that you don't own. You're still acquiring more property, but you're just circling the property that you don't own. And that almost makes sense. However, in this thought experiment, you only own what's inside the circle. The last circle you drew is your property line. So technically, once you pass the median, you start making smaller circles, you're losing property. And every time you make a new circle, you're just losing more and more property. So the most you would ever own in this thought experiment, if you live on the surface of a globe, is half the world. You would never own the whole world in this thought experiment. As much as that doesn't seem to make sense, that's life on a globe. So I think most people would say, yes, of course you're going to own the whole world if you just keep expanding outward. That makes sense to me. And it's like, welcome to flat Earth, people. Like life on a globe, it's confusing, you know? I'm going to take off my sweatshirt. I'm burning. And people always want to like default back to like NASA or like the multiple space agencies that we have around the world, you know, where it's like, oh, what are they all lying? Yeah, they're all lying. They are. They're all fraudulent. That's a tough pill to swallow for some people, but yeah, it's a big deception. I mean, look at some of the space presentations we were given. I mean, there's clearly some bogus shit we've been handed, you know, as being truth. It's like the moon landing, for instance. I mean, it's pathetic, basically, and it's just sad that people still believe that. And now we're going backwards, basically. Like now, like India landed on the moon, they give you this little graphic of a spaceship. It's like a fucking low resolution video game. It's like it's not even like they didn't even spend any time trying to make it look good, you know. It's like it's clearly, I mean, I don't think people really believe that's what it looked like. They're just giving you this little animation of what they did. You know, look what we did. Yay, everybody celebrates. It's like even the phony moon landing videos from back in the day, you know, at least they made an effort to make it look kind of real, you know. But nowadays it's just like we're given these stupid little graphics and these photographs. Our moon lander fell over and we got a shot of like this gray like dirt and like you can see some space in the background and it's like, dude, that is such a dumb fucking, the fact that like we've gone backwards as far as our like achievements regarding space and space travel. I mean, it's like we're supposed to believe that they landed a rover on Mars and a helicopter on Mars and they're having a hard time getting things to the moon. I mean, what in the fuck? How do people even swallow that shit? I mean, that's a way more difficult pill to choke down. It's like, so we can't even fucking successfully land something on the moon, but we're landing these rovers and helicopters on Mars, and that's no problem. It happens every time we try. It works out great. The Soviets landed a bunch of crafts on Venus back in the day. That never gets talked about. It's like they landed a craft on Venus, and then the lens cap didn't come off, so they couldn't get any footage of it. They got audio of Venus, but they didn't get any footage of it. So they sent another craft back up. The lens cap didn't come off again. I think they did that like 3 times. And then like the 4th time, the lens cap finally came off. And they were able to get a brief like footage of Venus, you know, where it's like this scary, like, you know, other planet where it's all like hot and like fucking there's all this like scary. It's just so stupid. But that just never even gets mentioned in the whole space travel discussion. It's like the Soviets landed on Venus like 4 times or something, 4 or 5 times, and they finally got the lens cap to come off, and they got this cheesy looking footage of Venus, but that never even gets brought up in discussion. It's so funny and it's so poorly like maybe it doesn't get brought up because it looks so bad or it's just such a hard to believe story. But not like the Mars landings are any easier to believe. But I got to admit, I fucking believed that shit at one point. I remember it was right before I got into flat Earth. Me and my dad were looking at Mars, and they have like a Google Mars, it's like you can go you can go look at the whole Mars, like it's all like you can go like travel around Mars. So I remember there was like this picture of like Mars, and like people were looking at it, and there was kind of like this discussion going on because it looks like there's a lady standing there on the surface of Mars. I mean, it really looks like a person that's standing like a lady, and you know it's just from a distance. You can't really like get that close. I mean, it's like, remember me and my dad were talking about, we're like, maybe there's really people there on Mars and they just don't want to tell us about it yet, but there's actually people there. And we're like, whoa. And like, it never once occurred to me during that conversation that maybe that's just a picture of Earth and they accidentally got somebody in the picture. It's just so funny how like, that's what needs to happen, is that just this discussion of like this whole thing being fake, it needs to reach everybody's mind, because once I realized there's a whole bunch of people that just don't believe it, and I was finally able to take it seriously long enough to like sit and like hear them out, because I heard about flat Earth before I took it seriously, but it was when Owen Benjamin got into flat Earth, because I was already watching his shows at that point, and so when he started getting drawn into flat Earth, he brought me with him, and he was showing a Taboo Conspiracy video, and so it's Taboo Conspiracy that really kind of woke me up to flat Earth, and then I found Jeranism and Mark Sargent and these guys, but like before that, I just thought it was a joke or something. I thought they were just a bunch of contrarians, and I was like, I kind of, I was kind of like, yeah, fucking more power to you guys, that's fucking funny. I thought it was funny, but I thought it was cool, because I'm kind of a contrarian in a certain way. I'm Dr. Bass Ackwards. I'm always kind of running against the grain, and so I appreciated the fact that they were doing that, but I didn't think it was serious. So once I realized it was serious, it just like my eyes were wide open. I'm like, holy fuck, where the fuck are we? And it wasn't until I finally conceived of my expanding perimeter concept where I finally realized that that's stupid to think we live on a ball. Like, that's just silly to think that like a vast expanse, you could really, you could mark it on the ground. You could physically mark these circles, and they're just going to keep getting bigger. How are you ever going to draw a smaller circle around the outside of your previous one? That's it's just silly. It's not going to happen. It's not possible. That's a reality that we'll never see. You're never going to see somebody measure a smaller circle around the outside of another one. That's on the ground. It's just not possible. Well, it is if you live on a globe. Okay, but that's not good enough. That's not good enough for me. That doesn't convince me. You can't say we live on a globe as proof that we live on a globe. That's just bullshit. Anyways, I think I've lost my audience. Might be somebody in here. It looks like there's nobody. Sorry I'm so boring. I don't know. I don't know what to say to keep you guys listening to me. I really got to work hard at this. Okay. Tell you what I'm going to do. I'm going to go grab my weed and get stoned. And I got to take a leak. So I'm going to leave you here. I'm going to leave nobody here to stare at the trees and listen to the birds. I'll be right back, Zero. If there is anybody in there, sorry to call you Zero. Saddle bomb, right on. Nice to see you, man. I don't know if anybody's in here, but if there is anybody here, I'll be right back. Don't go nowhere. plumbing guys coming here today to fix our busted water pipe. It's like an old metal pipe. It's all rusty. It's under our deck. I was going to try to fix it, but it's just kind of a can of worms. Or I did fix it, but then there was another hole that sprung. It's just like a snowball effect of like plumbing problems. Papa was a rolling snowball. Wherever he laid flat was his home. And when he died, all he left us was a puddle of snow. Melted snow. I don't know. That's a nice little stone. Ooh, it's a good worry stone. You know what a worry stone is? It's a stone that's smooth and you rub your worries into it. Oh, I'm so relaxed. It's my smooth worry stone I found. Stones don't worry me. They absorb my worries. Got this little pipe. We call these pipes mustache burners. I'm playing the black guitar. I gave this guitar to my girlfriend. She had it all fixed up and all nice. And then I broke strings on my other guitar, so I'm playing her guitar right now because I don't feel like changing strings. So when I run out of things to talk about, I just fall back onto my guitar. Or I pick up my guitar. I don't fall onto it. I resort to my only other form of entertainment I can muster up. You ever have like so many ideas that you just can't, that you're just sort of like overwhelmed and you can't really spit out any of them? It's like, rah, fucking overwhelmed with thoughts and ideas. That happens to me a lot. It's frustrating because I'm like, I'm so inspired. I have all this shit going through my mind I want to talk about, and I'm just kind of can't even like focus on anything. I think that's why weed kind of helps me out a little bit. Kind of helps me focus. I'm sure if I went to like a doctor, a straightforward psychologist, be like, you have ADD and we need to put you on some speed. We're going to give you some Ritalin. And then you're going to take this other thing to counteract. You're going to have some Riddle out for when you want to go to bed. And you can Riddle back in the morning. You'll be riddled by the time we're done with you, though. Just riddled. We'll rule you with riddles and fool you with... What rhymes with riddles? We'll rule you with riddles and fool you with... What rhymes with riddles? Come on, help me out here. Riddles, shiddles, biddles, fiddles, little kiddle, middle, whittle, whittle, little. We'll rule you with little people. You know what I think? I think that we're the little people, like the elves, like we talk about elves in folklore, or whatever, like these little people. I think we're those people. There was big giants before, like big ones. And when we came along, we're the little elves. We're like those little people in the myth, the stories of like of the long ago when they talk about little elves and shit. That's who we are. We're the little people. The big people are gone. So now we think we're the big people and there's like some little elves running around somewhere. But no, we're the little elves that are running around somewhere. We were left to take over the place. The meek shall inherit the earth. And then fuck it up just like the fucking big people did. The big people built some fucking righteous looking shit, man. It's all over the world. You find these structures that are just incredible. Why did we change so drastically? Like, why, when, where, how, what the fuck? It doesn't make sense to me. There's plenty of flat earthers that will not even touch this subject, but it's like, it's just fascinating. I don't see why you wouldn't want to dive down that rabbit hole and realize that there's something to it, Like, there's not enough information about how these buildings were created. And it's just like, where do they source all that material? How do they get it delivered? And how do they get all these people, like, working for them to be so good at what they're doing? Where do they go to school to learn all that? How can we lost that knowledge? And like, there's just so many unanswered questions. It just starts to pile up to where you're like, okay, fuck me. There's something going on here. There's something fucked up going on. I'm not being told the truth. And that's what critical thinkers do. They have to look at something and just be like, is this bullshit or not? That's what critical thinking is. It's like you're looking at something as though it's bullshit, basically, and you're trying to figure out if it's true. Critical. I'm being critical of you. I'm looking at you like you're full of shit, but I'm still giving you a chance to tell me what you want to tell me. But I'm already looking at it like it's bullshit. So just be aware of that. I'm looking at you critically. I'm using critical thought. It's to like fucking to scrutinize everything as though as though it might not be true. You have to take that approach to information. Like you can't just accept what someone's telling you as being that's the fact. And usually someone's telling you something that they heard from somewhere else. That's, this is the official source that they fucking somehow acquired the information from. You're just taking people at their word. And like, unless you're going to go and verify it yourself, then you're pretty much, you should never just be 100% like, there's always there's some chance that someone was confused or they were wrong on accident, or they lied. I don't like just having to settle for like, our history is exactly how it's been told. Like that's how it all happened. It's like, yeah, but there's some unanswered questions that really need answering. Like why, just for instance, like why have we fallen so far? Like how come nobody wants to make architecture like we used to make? It's just incredible. It's inspiring. Isn't there anybody that wants to build like that anymore? Like did we just not know how, or like why is that not happening? I would think that with all the vast riches, there's people that put like billions and millions of dollars into these fucking, these whatever, these places that they build, but they're not building like that. There's no way, nobody knows how to make that kind of shit. Nothing lasts that long. I mean, these buildings are like hundreds of years old and they're still just fucking, they're not going nowhere. It's like it costs money to, it's like there's places like they wanted to tear down the Philadelphia, it's like the Philly like fucking municipal building or whatever. It's like the it's like the city building or whatever. It's a municipal building, I guess is what it's called. It's like it cost too much money to tear it down. They couldn't afford to tear it down. They just had to leave it. And I don't know why you want to tear it down. It's fucking incredible. There's like ceilings that are just like, they're way the fuck up there, right? And it's just like big long stretches of just stone, like heavy duty masonry. And it's like there's no support beams in the middle. But there's no, it's like, how is that even being held up? And like, what the fuck? And there's like a wall that's like a piece of stone that's like 23 feet thick or something. It's like, how do they even fucking acquire that? And what the fuck are they using? Who in the fuck would think that was necessary, But they're like supporting these huge, I mean, you don't just like fucking improvise and learn how to do that kind of, there's like a lot of education and a lot of knowledge that goes into these buildings, but like there's no information about it. Nobody, it's just like, come on, man. Someone's not being honest here. You could at least just say we don't know, but then that just leaves too many. It's like, oh, what? So we weren't the first people here? I thought we were the first people here, other than the Indians who were running around like a bunch of naked fucking dorks or something, a bunch of weirdos. They didn't build it, so it just kind of shatters the whole story of our fucking America. We came and this is the new world, It's like, well, the old world is still here though. Super cute. I'm gonna show you this. These are birds. Like our sunflower patch here, they've already seen their day, and their seeds yummy. And the birds, they come and they land on the flower, and the flower will kind of tip over a little bit, so they'll be kind of upside down trying to eat the seeds. Super cute. We'll wait for another bird to come here. They were just jamming it up a second ago. As soon as I started trying to show you, now they're gone. Come here, birdies, eat the seeds. I'll come stand way over here so you don't get startled by me. We shall wait for a bird to pluck a seed from the sunflower. The ones that fall over are the ones that squirrels get. There's one. There's a birdie. Those are good seeds, huh, birdie? Oh, you're so cute. It's got one seed and flew off. Nobody wants to eat a seed. Am I too close? Oh, there's another birdie. Yeah, get some seeds. They're yummy. Oh, how cute. They just come and they get one seed and they fly back. I guess that's all you can really carry when you're a bird. You just get your mouth. That's all you're working with. That must be weird just to have like your mouth be like your hands, basically. Your mouth is like all you're working with. It's like, ah, you don't have no hands. I kind of feel like birds are sort of above us sometimes on the ladder of like, or not evolution, but just the ladder of life. Like if there really is a chance that maybe we've been other animals before in our past lives. I think like if there is such a thing as past lives and all that kind of stuff, most of the time we have the memory wipe. Sometimes people say they remember their past lives or whatever, and there's been evidence that that's true. I mean, it's kind of hard one to swallow. It doesn't really, but like, I think at the point when we're in between lives, like I think one of the ways, I think maybe the way it might be is like if you're in a sort of a place where you're between lives, and it's like I don't know if it's even up to you whether you get another life or where you go. Maybe it is, but I think at that point when you're in between lives, you your soul, like you can at that point you can remember all of the lives that you lived in this long chain, however long your soul has been around. It all comes back to you when you're between lives. Like right now in this life, this is all you remember. This is all. It means everything to you. It's all you got. And like losing it just seems like it's just like too hard to even really fathom with it. So you try not to think about it or whatever. It's like, and it just seems like so massively like it's crazy to think about. But like I think one of the ways that becomes sort of easier to sort of digest is because when you pass on, you go to this place where you're not only remembering your life that you just lived, but all the other lives that you lived, and it sort of puts it in perspective, and you can just see this long chain of like, and you have all those memories that come back to you, and it's like you're looking at it, and you say your life flashes before your eyes. That's just this life. Once you finally move on, it's like every life flashes before your eyes. Every life that you led, it's just all right there in your waking, whatever it is, your soul. Because they say you have an old soul or a young soul or whatever. It's like there's people that are born with more like inherent knowledge of just how to behave, how to interact with the world. Like some people are just gifted with these incredible talents, and that take people lifetimes to learn how to do. But these kids are doing it already, and they didn't even really have much training. There's plenty of evidence of that, and they call it like like a what they're like. What do they call that? I forget. There's a word for it. It's like not the idiot savant, but the like what is like the prodigies. There's some word for it. I forget what it is now. It's not coming to me. First stringer. There we go. Trying to set up the phone prop. Ain't working. Gotta get more creative. Maybe it'll work. There you go. Ta-da! That's good enough for me. I've been working on it lately. It's kind of dark, but it's also just playful and just fun. I need to, but I haven't gotten settled on words yet. Like I have the chorus written and the song is composed, like the music part, but and the melody and everything, I just haven't settled on words for the verses yet. So I kind of like just sort of just make shit up, I have certain ideas for the verses, but I haven't really settled on it. I haven't sat and written down or like, I haven't come to like a final verse yet, but the chorus is written already and the song is already crafted. Like I just have to come up with the words for the verses, and and the way I do that a lot of times is I'll just sit here and I'll just play it and just make shit up on the spot, and hopefully like something sounds good, and it's good that I'm recording it, so I can listen back to it and be like, oh, that lately I haven't gotten too far on the song. I've gotten some ideas, but I never really, the verse never really, when I listen back to it, I'm like, because it's got to just strike me in a way to where it feels right, And like I'm not really like writing the song. The song is already written. It seems like the song writes itself. Like if you're really writing a song, like the way I think you should write a song, like you've discovered this song and you're just shaving off the excess bullshit and trying to see, because you're discovering a song. It's like it's there. You just have to shape it kind of and like bring it to life somehow. Like it doesn't feel like when I'm writing a good song, or when a good song comes out of me, I don't feel like I wrote it so much as I feel like I'm just channeling this song that's always been there. That's just like somebody needed to just bring it to life, you know. I don't know if that makes sense, but like I won't write a song if it's got too much of my ego pouring through it, where it just sounds like I'm just kind of like talking about myself, and I'm just, you know, I'm just like trying to showboat something of mine, or maybe I'm just bashing myself, whatever it might be. If it's all just about me, then it's not really a good song. It's not even really what I would consider as like music. I don't know. It's just, there's a lot of music like that too, but it's like, I don't find it to be very good music. I don't think it's got legs. I don't think it's going to last that long. Some of it does. I mean, but like, it's probably because it's got other elements that are good about it. Like, but as far as words and songs are concerned, like I feel like the more like I don't see the point in writing a song just for myself. Like I'm trying to to relate to the world. I want to give people something to like, something that they can relate to, and you know, I'm trying to find ways of communicating, and uh, you know, you leave behind whatever you create while you're here. You know, I want people to have these songs to like relate to, or just to be inspired by or amused by, whatever it might be. But if it's just about me, like it doesn't seem like it's got to be about me, and it's got to be like about something that like people can relate to or feel inspired by. Like I'm really super picky about my songs, and sometimes I'll just make up silly songs that don't mean that much, and I just think they're funny or something, you know. But still, it's got a purpose. I think it's funny. You know? I'm trying to make people laugh or be amused or whatever. I'm not writing the song for me, is what I'm trying to say. I'm writing it for everybody. Does that make sense? Most of my songs have like backing up tractors, or like chainsaws, or like jackhammering. A lot of jackhammering. I don't see why you'd want to like compose a piece of music without some loud power tools or something going on in the background. It just seems like it's necessary. I'm just kidding. But that's just how it works out usually, because there's never a quiet day in this neighborhood. I live out in the cutty, out in the mountains, you know, but there's never a fucking quiet day here. Never. That's why I've been doing my streams at night. I'll come on at like fucking 9 o'clock, 10 o'clock California time, and the crickets are out here. That's the only background noise, and I love it. I love it. It sounded like Trump right there. I love it. It's the best. It's like the best. You're never going to get better crickets, man. I have the best crickets. They told me that I'm the best too, and that's because of that I, you know, I think it's the best, and everyone should know that it's the best. It's the best. And people tell me it's the greatest, it's better than the greatest thing. It's oozing with greatness. You're going to be so tired of how great it is. It's never been better. That's the thing. It's because it's me. I mean, talk about playing a role. Like the guy is so good at playing the role of the most vain person that ever walked the face of the earth. He plays that role to a T, and it's like, of course, the most vain person, you know, is gonna have to be like, I don't know, like the guy with the most attention, right? It's like we got these people running for president right now. Is that right? There's an election coming up. I live in blue state of California, in the Bay Area, in the Silicon Valley, like you know, in the epicenter of some of this like liberal, like, you know, shit, right? And it's like I have yet to see a single campaign sign, you know, like vote Kamala or whatever, you know. Not one. Not a single one. I was in Santa Cruz maybe like a couple of weeks ago, a few weeks ago now or whatever. I was down there with Brittany. We went down there one night. I was like, I want to go play out in public, you know. And I was like, it was Labor Day or whatever. It was Sunday night, because Monday was a holiday or whatever. And I was like, I've been down there in Santa Cruz before on a holiday, on that same holiday, and just had tons of people, and it played on the sidewalk and just had a great response. We go down there and it's like hardly anybody out. And I was like, whatever, let's hang out and I'll play some music, whatever. We ended up having some cool people that hung out with us. It was fun, but there was hardly anybody out. But first thing I did was I hung up my American flag on the side of this building or whatever, and I was playing in front of this American flag. And the first two people that walked by, there was first a couple dudes walked by and they're like, vote Trump, you know. I was like, I just laughed. Second couple that came by, is like a dude and his girlfriend. They're like, Trump, you know. It was like the first two groups of people that came by were all about Trump, and they thought I was like putting a flag up as a Trump. Funny. The fucking plumber over here. Maybe I'll take this inside. There'll be less power tools, maybe. I can show you where the pipe comes out over here. Yeah, that's just water. That's a plug and a key. It's not anything. Right on. All right, I'm in my room. It's quiet. Quiet-ish. I'm gonna work on my song. I don't bother you guys. I'm gonna play a song. That's what I do on my channel. You guys probably heard the song already. It's gonna be a good song. And every minute of the day, there's a sucker born, and a dunce cap to be worn. If you paint yourself into the corner, you can color him amused. He's got his eye on you, and you won't know until it's too late, and you're already gone. And your first mistake was thinking God's forsaken you, when it's you that's forsaken him. And Satan rhymes with hating, and he's baiting that hook. He's always trying to reel you in. He'll be sitting there waiting. By the time you look, it's too late. Now you've sinned, and his evil grin has lured you in, and it always is the same old story every time you try to find a way back out, but you've already gone too far. Now your whole life is turned into, and Satan rhymes with hating, and he's baiting that hook. He's always trying to reel you in. He'll be sitting there waiting. By the time you look, it's too late. Now you're hooked. You're an open book, so easy to read. And we've seen this story all before. You're like a time bomb ticking as the plot thickens, and you have to explain this has all been known. It's just a wash. You have to cut your loss. And Satan rhymes with hating, and he's baiting that hook. So he's trying to reel you in. He'll be sitting there waiting. By the time you look, it's too late. Now you've sinned. It's a slippery slope as you slide down alone, and it'll throw you a rope and throw you a bone, and you'll think and it's a work in progress. It's progressing. It's getting better. The chorus, it's all about the chorus, man. It's just like, just so satisfying. And what I found is interesting is like the song's about Satan, right? And it's like it's in a certain key. When I go to the words, when I say Satan, it's the chord I'm playing is D minor. And I took music theory a long time ago, and when I was in like junior college, and I took a songwriting class from the same teacher because he's really good. And that stuff is like in the back of my mind all the time. Like I don't really sit there and try to apply the knowledge that I get from those classes, but it was sort of stuff. A lot of it was just sort of like verifying stuff that I already kind of was aware of, but it was just kind of made me more aware of it. But like one thing I remember about that when I was learning songwriting is like there was like this understanding or this common like belief or understanding that like different keys and chords have different moods and feelings about them, you know. And it so turns out that the key of D minor is always been considered like the devil's key, like it's like because it evokes a certain mood, and like that's what my songwriting teacher said. You know, he's like, this has always been thought of like for it's like music theory. Like people have always thought of the D minor as being like this devilish, the devil's chord or whatever. And it's just so funny. I didn't mean for that to work out when I'm writing my song. The song just started off with me going, I was just kicking it, and I was talking, and I was just sort of freestyling. I'm like, Satan rhymes with hating, and he's baiting that hook. I'm like, oh, that's a song, you know. And so I just started playing around, and it just so works out that my song's in the key of D minor, the devil's key. I was like, oh, well, this is definitely a thing there. I think I've stumbled into something. It was already there. The devil's key. Let me think if I know any other songs that are in D minor. I know a few. This chord. I have another song that I wrote in that key, and I never thought about it being the devil's key. I don't know where my head's been lately. Lately, I've been daydreaming more often than I've been doing anything else. And you know what this could mean? What does it mean? If it means anything, maybe it means that my voice is going out. Hold on a second. Where's my drink? Here's one. If it means anything, maybe it means that my means to an end are ending. And I'm just stuck here pretending, getting pipe drunk in a pipe dream, where it might seem I'm only thinking about all the days to come. But it looks like I missed this one. How did I miss it? How did I miss it? I missed it. That's it. And what can you do when you miss it? Nothing. There ain't nothing you can do but move on. So I'm moving on. along as I spiral further down, 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 like I'm coasting. So I make a toast to this easy way of living, 'cause it just seems so forgiving that I get lost in la la land while something else gets planned, and I'm just left standing there looking dumb, like I missed that one. Yeah, I missed it again. I always miss it, and you can't get it back when you miss it. I missed it. That's it. You can't get it back. You can't get it back when you missed it like that. And since I can't get it back, can't get it back, I must forge another one and try to become someone who's somewhat anonymous, so I can try to fall through the cracks until it gets down to the wire.
Hey, Four.
Yeah.
Could you turn the water on for my man here? He wants to see the leak.
Yeah.
Thank you. It just needs to be for a blast. No, no. Okay. Thank you. I've got one up at the top here. If you like. Say what?
Got it close by.
Until it gets down to the wire, and I have to retire to spend the rest of my days on the run. precious love that I've heard. Take some with you. Take as much as you need. Take more than you need. That way you can share some as you go. If you gotta go, take some love. Take as much as you need. Take it from me. Take it from me. Take more than you need so you can share it as you go. Take more than you need. In case someone takes it from you, you can come back and get some more. There's plenty of love going out my door. Come on, get some love to go. Love you can't love. The thing about loving is once you get a little bit, you just want some more. Well, once you get a little loving, now you know you need more loving. Now you get a little more, now you know you need a lot. That loving, well, that loving's hard. Oh, don't you ever let that loving stop. Oh, you know you need a lot. Oh, keep that loving going, baby. Don't you let that loving stop. I wanna live up every last drop. Think about loving. That was a song that I guess I wrote. I thought I stole the idea from a friend of mine, but mostly just the melody and the line, all of my colors are fading away. I thought I stole that. I thought I stole that from him. And that's the second song that I thought I stole from him too. There's another song. He's just a profoundly good musician, and I steal ideas from him. And then he doesn't remember the. Then I'll play it for him, and he doesn't remember the idea. I'm like, oh well, I guess it's mine now. Sucks for you. And his songs are great that I steal from him. I love them. I should go steal some more songs from that guy. He's got some good ones. Some of them I haven't gotten away with stealing, like this one. He knows it's his song. Hey, get a little bit lonely sometimes, and I get a little bit confused. Don't know what direction to go, and I don't know which way to choose. Every road that we go down just brings us back around again. Yeah, oh, don't know what direction to go, but I know I'm gonna be there, and I'm doing alright. Yeah, oh baby, doing alright. Yeah, I'm doing alright. Baby, I'm doing it right. Yeah, oh, get a little bit tired sometimes, and I get a little bit under the weather. Don't know what direction to go, mama, and I don't know which way is better. Seems like every road that we run down just circles back around again. Ooh, don't know what direction to go, but I know I'm gonna be there, and I'm doing alright. Yeah, oh, I'm doing I'm doing all right, baby. Doing it right. Yeah. Do 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 that and do do. Doing it, do that, doing it right. Do do that and do that and do. Doing it right. I'm doing it right. I'm doing it right. Oh, baby, do doing it right. Doing it right. I do it a lot different than him though. He doesn't do all that do that shit. The lyrics are pretty much the same though, in the chord pattern. I just do it a lot more funky than he does. He does it more bluesy. His name is Jeff Hunter. He used to be in a band called The Previously Lost Dogs. They're really good. I used to play music with him all the time. I lived near him, but we drifted apart. He's great though. He might be on YouTube or on something. He's Jeff Hunter, The Previously Lost Dogs. I don't know if they have it. I forget. I haven't looked in a long time. My ears are popping. Shout out to Jeff Hunter. Although last time I was with him, he came over here maybe a few years ago, and maybe like 2 years ago. And I hadn't seen him in forever. It had been like 15 years or something. It had been a long time, over 10 years. And we were just catching up and we were playing some music, and I was like, oh, this is great. I couldn't believe that we were playing music because I miss him. I love the guy. But then he's like, I wrote this new song. I want to, and he was trying. A lot of times he would go into some song that was one of his, and he wouldn't tell me how it goes or anything, and I just kind of have to follow him. This was another case of that, and he starts playing this song, and it's about COVID, and it's about the pandemic and how we all had to do the right thing, and we're all in this together, and all the lyrics. I was like, oh man. I just kind of stopped playing. I was just standing there like, no way, And like it was basically like somebody took the narrative that they'd spit at us, the fucking narrative, like we're all in this together, and we're just waiting for the vaccine, and like you got to wash your hands, and you gotta, we all have to wear a face covering, and stand on the X in the store and follow the arrows. We got to do our part, and blah blah blah, and like every little fucking cliche, like god awful fucking phrase. It's just like, and someone had taken all those phrases, all the narrative, and just wove it together to make a song. I think that's what he must have done, but he made it rhyme and stuff. But it was like a full, complete song. I was like, dude, you're killing me, man. And like, he didn't understand why I was like all put out by it. He looked at me, he's like, what? Why aren't you playing? I'm like, I was just speechless. I'm like, man, I don't know. I don't know what to say. And because if someone's that fucking head up their ass, I mean, what are you gonna do? Like, I don't know what to say. Let me try to pull your head out there, bro. It's kind of awkward. Maybe it's something you should do yourself. I don't really want to get my hands dirty like that. You know what I mean? It's just bad. So yeah, shout out to Jeff Hunter. Maybe somebody can go wake him up for me. I don't feel like pulling his head out. This kind of a dirty job. Somebody's got to do it though. Hopefully he can figure out how to do that himself. I had to do that myself. I wouldn't want anybody else to help me pull my head out of my ass. It's kind of personal. What's up, John? Nice to see you. I drink half and half like people drink milk. Fucking good. have it in my cereal and shit. I love half and half. Why wouldn't you love half and half? Fucking good. So good. Oh, the band name, it was the Previously Lost Dogs. And that was an old group of hits. And so if you find them, they're not going to be singing any songs about COVID or anything. That was like his most recent piece of work that he shared. Other than that, though, he's a great dude. I love that guy. Like, we kind of had a falling out over a specific female, and it wasn't even really like I didn't try to steal his girlfriend or anything. I mean, it's kind of like a long story, but she gave me a job up at the farm where he was usually up there being her farmhand, you know, but they were a couple, you know, and they grew up. She used to a really good pot grower. So I got the job going up there and doing what he would normally have done because they had broken up, and I was his buddy, you know. But like me and him had kind of been bickering a little bit about stupid shit though, but like money shit, you know, because I was working for him doing construction and shit. And it was petty shit up with stuff that would have come out in the wash, you know. But then this happened because I was kind of hard up for money, you know, and she offered me a job, and I was like, fuck yeah. I wasn't thinking, oh, I'm stepping on his toes, because he wasn't up there helping her, you know. I went up there and helped her and you know, he found out, of course, and was just all pissed and thought I was trying to swoop his girl, but that was definitely not what I was trying to do. She's nuts. Although, I mean, it was kind of like she was trying to make me fill his role altogether, but like I ended up hooking her up with one of my buddies, this dude Brian. He's all, thanks. He was all in love with her for a minute, but like, she's just nuts. She's impossible to be around. She eventually just pushes everyone away from her. She's crazy, which is what I kind of liked about her, though. I think she's just such a wingnut. She had like she's like a blue hair, you know. She's like, she's one of them blue hairs. She was just crazy and funny as fuck, but she was totally like conspiracy theorist. I mean, she thought she was always busy like focusing on everybody around. She always thought there was all this other shit going on that wasn't really going on. Or oh, that's suspicious, you know, and just paranoid, delusional, that kind of person. I think a lot of pot growers are like that. Maybe not all of them. I don't know why. It seems like something, but it's like when you're growing big. I mean, you're kind of paranoid they're gonna get busted, you know, and so that's always like on the back of your mind. Can I trust them? That was back in like 2010, maybe, or 9. I hired my son and all his buddies because they had just gotten out of high school. They were road tripping, and I hired them to come be our trimming crew. It was a fun experience. Some of the best times of my life. Really, it was just such a blast because I was traveling with them. I didn't have a car at the time, and they came through Santa Cruz, and I ran into them because they're on their road trip after he just graduated high school. I was like, you guys need a job? You want to make some money up in Humboldt, trimming some pot? And they're like, fuck yeah. And I was like, you got a car? And they're like, they had this big van. There was 4 of them. I was like, that's perfect. That's a perfect crew right there. Here we go. Let's jump in the van and do this shit. It was awesome. Such a good time. I mean, they were all pot smokers, and it was my son, you know. But it wasn't like there was some weird, awkward thing about that. I was already getting stoned with my kid before he got out of high school. I know that sounds bad, but I didn't like present it to him and say, hey, you want to try some weed? It's just that him and his friends were obviously stoners and smoking pot. And I you know, it was the sort of thing where I'm like, hey, can I have a hit? What can I try some of your weed? I play one of his buddy's songs that he made up on that trip. I kind of stole his song. And it's funny when I steal people's songs, like I played this song for that dude and he didn't really quite remember it either. Like it's that song you guys were all singing and playing when we were traveling around together, and he remembers the time, but he doesn't remember the song. I'm like, how do you not remember this song? It's so good. I wonder if I do that too. I wonder if I forget about songs that I show people and they take and they run with it. And if I hear it again, I'm like, I won't recognize it. I wonder if that's a thing. I don't know. I guess you wouldn't know, huh? Unless somebody's telling you, man, whatever. This song's called Broken Alone. It's written by a guy named Cody, but he doesn't remember writing it, so I play it. I keep the song alive. It's not about my family, I know that much. Grandma likes her pills and Mama likes her cocaine. Buys me beers, but they all think that I've changed. Just the same, only I've been away. I've been trying to figure out what life is all about. I'm just trying to figure out what life is all about. And I've been trying to clear my head from all that you said. All that you said. I've been trying to clear my head from all the shit you said. They've all sold their souls for gold. Now I'm out here trying to find a better road. Now I'm out here broke and alone. Broke and alone. Broke and alone. So the story goes. Broke and alone. So far from home. So far from home. While I've been trying to figure out what life is all about. I've been trying to figure out what life is all about. 'Cause I'm just trying to clear my head from all that you said. All that you said. I've been trying. They've all sold their souls for gold. Now I'm out here trying to find a better road. Now I'm out here broke and alone. I'm out here broke and alone. Oh, yeah, now I'm out here broke and alone. I'm broke, ain't got no money. I'm alone with nobody. Cheers, Jess Palmer. Nice to see you. I have another song of mine that I've been working on. It goes like this. I didn't go to heaven heaven came to me. I didn't come around, I just came to be. I didn't write this song wrote me, and it tells you how I am, who I am. This song tells you how I am, who I am. I didn't go to heaven, heaven came to me. I didn't come around, I just came to be. When you got everything in its right place, there's no time to wait. You could have a picture perfect paradise. Wouldn't that be nice? Take my advice, don't think twice. Life is headstrong, don't wait too long. When you got everything in its right place, there's no time to waste. You could have a picture perfect paradise. Oh, wouldn't that be nice? Take my advice, don't think twice. Life is headstrong, don't wait too long. Yes, I didn't go to heaven, heaven came to me. I didn't come around, I just came to be. I didn't write this song wrote me, and it tells you how I am, who I am. It tells you how I am, who I am. That's not part of the song. You know about these guys who are like Andrew Tate or some shit? They're just people that are famous, and I don't know what they did to get famous. They're just famous. But I don't know what they did that made them famous in the first place. That seems kind of cool. Just to be famous, didn't even do nothing. I'm just famous because I'm rich. I'm rich because I'm famous. Yeah. Okay. I'd like to be famous for faking my fame. Getting all of the acclaim of the next lame brain on the next lame name brand. Yeah. But me, I'll just stand for nothing, and all those clear channels can eat my static. Oh, I know it sounds to be a bit dramatic, but you don't have to panic. I'm just not some jackass wannabe. And I'm not as vain as John Wayne. You won't hear me complain. I'm gonna move to Penny Lane, so I have to be unashamed. I'm ingrained against the grain. Yes, I claim to have no claim. I had to ditch the shrew who could not be tamed, so I could refrain. Back to the first frame. where I first fell off the chain. Discovered the world is going both ways down a one-lane road at the same damn time. I don't mean to rain on your parade or your pride. I just don't think you'd have to try that hard to be recognized. It just seems to me to be way too much of a strain. When you can just rig the game, take the reins, okay, and just cut to the chase, yeah. And do I have to explain? I'm just famous for faking my fame. Famous for faking it. My fame would seem like fair game. Yeah, whatever. All you people, you just wanna make money. Don't you wanna be loved by anybody? I just don't care how broke I am. Just as long as you're my friend, I'll keep on filling your ears with what you didn't expect to hear. And when you're done, you won't know what's here or there. It just seems that nothing is quite what it appears to be. But you need to have a sense of humor in this business with me. It's a business that won't let me be too self-conscious, and I might become obnoxious. Just don't take it personally. I hope you don't get offended by my remarks. To keep my people in the dark. That way, when I fire up a spark, I look like a hero. I'm just famous for being famous, yep. And you don't know what my name is. You're out of the loop, and I flew the coop. I flew through the loophole. Yes, I'm just famous for being famous. And you don't know what my name is. You're out of the loop, and I'm a fluke. I flew the coop and flew through the loophole. Ooh, famous. That song was by Dr. Bass. Dr. Bass wrote that one. Could you tell? got their part to play, though. The world is a stage. Stages are flat. Are you a stand-in or a stand-out? That is the question. Living the life of a stand-in is random. Living the life of a stand-in is random. You're just standing there, and you don't stand out that much. You're just a part of the scenery. That's all you really seem to be. Just a prop in the backdrop there. You're not supposed to be given much thought. And at the end of the day, you get paid, but you're just expected to go away, 'cause you're just another dumb schmuck stuck in a tough luck situation that you really had no hand in. You're just another stand-in. Yeah. And you're random. Living the life of a stand-in is random. But it gets hard to stand in a set that's been contrived by someone else's mind. Here where your role has been well defined, don't try to color outside these lines. You'll only ruin the shot, and you'll miss your spot in the spotlight. Sidelines there, as a man in the crowd wearing a look on his face of utter abandon. Yes, it's you, the stand-in. And that was pretty random. The lifestyles of the stand-ins, you get taken for granted. But it's important, you know. It's very important, you know. Life goes on even after the show you think you belong to is over. Everyone has to go back to what they were doing before you all put on a little show. And in the real world, the heroes are rarely ever known, 'cause no one cares, they're all at home, stuck in front of their boob tube or their YouTube, tuning out from the real world that carries on outside, revering people who seem so courageous and brave up on their set and their stage, like this man who would just throw it all away to save the day, as he clutches the hand of his true love while she's dangling above a bottomless pit, and his other arm is stretched out to his full length as he clings to the lowest rung of a rope ladder that's been hung from the helicopter that hovers above the sky, right as the pilot winks his eye and Lightning, lightning bolt strikes. Somehow they escape, 'cause it's all a movie. It's fake. It's not real. It's of no consequence to you. What these people really do, they're just acting. And you are standing there, living a life. You're living in the life of a stand-in. 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 You're living in of a stand-in. Why would you live the life of a stand-in? I don't know. He was a very good stand-in, though. He stood well, he understood his standard standing position. He knew how to stand like a stand-in should stand. He understood his standing role. He stood off, we don't know where he's standing now, but he was a good stand-in. That standard, stand-a-puss. We liked him because he's standard. He's standard. He's a standard, stand-in. He's understanding of the standiness. He stood in standiness. What time is it? It's time for me to go. I like finding shiny things, I like the way they shine. I like finding shiny things, I find them all the time. Yes, I find those shiny things and make them mine. Well, like those shiny items, you can buy them at the store. Like those shiny items, but they cost a lot more than those boring non-shiny freaking things. That's why I like finding shiny things for free. If you see me finding things, I'm probably finding shiny things. I'll find them all and haul them all away. Yeah. Hey. Okay, I said now if you see me finding things, I'm probably finding shiny things. I'll find them all and haul them all away. Yeah. So hard to do that. So I'm trying to do it with my thumb. So it's like this. It's hard to do it fast. Okay. If you see me shining things, I'm probably shining findy things. Hey, I know what AI is. Do you know what AI is? Hey, I know what AI is. AI is just one eye. Hey, I know what AI is. AI is just one eye up in the sky. It's going to spy on you and I and everyone in society. Say goodbye to your privacy. Yeah, it's the most realistic shit you're going to get, but it's still fake shit. Don't mistake it for being real. It's not alive. Teach it how to walk, how to talk, how to pick a lock, how to wash your socks, how to read your mind. Teach it how to jump rope, how to cook dope, how to tell a joke, but it don't understand the punchline. Teach it how to repeat shit, but can it keep a secret? I don't think so, it won't know why. Hey, Hey, I know what AI is. AI is just an eye up in the sky. It's gonna spy on you and I and everyone in society. Say goodbye to your privacy. Yeah, the algorithmic gimmick been given no limit. Goes all the way out, around, and then back in it. It's the official, artificial, digital idolatry. That's really all it could be. To call it intelligent is intellectual dishonesty. You can teach it how to play Tetris and chess and checkers and tic-tac-toe. Teach it how to look like it's teaching itself. Look at that shit go. Whoa! Oh, once the cat is out of the bag, it's impossible to put it back. A fact check this, fact check that. Huh! Teach it how to play Tetris and chess and checkers and tic-tac-toe. Teach it how to repeat shit, but can it keep a secret? I don't think so. I don't think so. Hey, I know what AI is. Do you know what AI is? Hey, I know what AI is. AI is just one eye. Hey, I know what AI is. AI is just an eye up in the sky. It's going to spy on you and I and everyone in society. Say goodbye to your privacy. Yeah. Someplace I got to go, traveling somewhere far from you, far from anyone that we both know. It's just time to start again. Let go and get my grip back in touch with what's in front of me. reasons I try to keep us tied together. Looking back on the world I knew, it seemed like there was more I was going to do. When I was young, now I'm alone. I'm here, just lost with everyone. Well, somewhere, sometime, somehow, I got spun down. Tied it together, tied it together, tied it together, tied it together, and make sense of my life and try to keep it together. 'Cause I feel like we all could be a lot more satisfied with the way we live around each other. You know you got to travel sometimes to figure out if you're alright. But I'll see you on the other side. Yeah, so long, goodbye. I'm gone, but I'm only traveling. I'm only traveling. I'm traveling, traveling, unraveling and babbling. Traveling, traveling, ding dong dong, ding dong ding. Traveling like a traveling ding dong, traveling dingleberry, traveling wilderberries, traveling ding dong dairy, doo doo dee da dee. Traveling all across the plain, all around the flat plain under your brain. You might try to refrain from traveling, 'cause you might be afraid you'll end up at the Nightmare Hotel. The Nightmare Hotel. The terrible parable, almost too unbearable to tell, of a hell wound. You know it was the worst of all travesties, where this trapeze artist and his under armpit deodorant that strangely contained some new unnamed fungus, been known by many a user to induce hallucinations, which is quite dangerous, 'cause most people have such weak mental health. And so the company took it off the shelf, but not before this high-stepping, tightrope walking man. He thought he could fly and decided to try. As the audience shielded their eyes, he fell without a net. He fell without a net, and the women wept like lucid chicks losing it at the Nightmare Hotel. The terrible parable, almost too unbearable to tell, of a hell wound. It was the worst of all time.
it's probably one of the worst of all travs.